Գալստյան և ապեր զվարճանան դասկան մարնոցարեգի
Ալելույա, ալելույա Երանի նրանց, որոնք քո տան մեջ են բնակվում, որովհետև նրանք անդադար քեզ պիտի օրհնեն։ Այս ընթերցումը Պողոս Ալեքյալի կողմից Թեսաղոնիկացիներին գրված առաջին նամակից է։ Սիրելիներ, ցանկանում եմ, որ տեղյակ լինեք ննջեցյալների մասին, որպեսզի չտխրեք ինչպես ուրիշները, որոնք հույս չունեն։ Եթե տեղյակ ենք, թե Հիսուս մեռավ և հարություն առավ, այդպես էլ Աստված Հիսուսի միջոցով ննջեցյալներին ետ կյանքի պիտի բերի նրա հետ։ Մենք այս բանն ասում ենք Տիրոջ խոսքով։ Եթե մենք ողջ մնանք մինչև Տիրոջ գալուստը, չպիտի կանխենք ննջեցյալներին, որովհետև Տերն ինքը ազդարարության նշանով, հրեշտակապետի ձայնով և Աստծո շեփորը պիտի իջնի երկնքից, և Քրիստոսով ննջածները առաջինը հարություն պիտի առնեն։ Ապա և մենք, որ կենդանի մնացած պիտի լինենք, նրանց հետ միասին պիտի հափշտակվենք, տարվենք ամպերի վրայից Տիրոջ առաջոթում և այդպես մշտապես Տիրոջ հետ պիտի լինենք։ Ուրեմն մխիթարեցեք միմյանց այս խոսքերով։ Ալելույա, ալելույա, բարձրանեմ ես քեզ Տեր, զիընկալ արզիս և ոչ ուրախ արարես թշնամին իմ հիս, ալելույա հորդի։
Խաղաղություն ամենեցում
Եվ ընթորք վույթում երկյուղացությամբ լվարում
Սրբո ավետարանի Հիսուսի Քրիստոսի որստոբանու
Հատքես Տեր Աստված մեր պրոսում է, ասե Աստված
Մեր Տերը Հիսուս Քրիստոս ասում է Ճշմարիտ եմ ասում ձեզ Եթե ցորենի ատիկը հողի մեջ ընկնելով չմեռնի, միայն ատիկն ինքը կմնա, իսկ եթե մեռնի, բազում արդյունք կտա, ով սիրում է իր անձը կկորցնի այն, իսկ ով այս աշխարհում իր անձն ատում է, այն կպահի հավիտենական կյանքի համար, Եթե մեկը ինձ ծառայի իմ ետևից կգա, և ուր ես եմ, այնտեղ կլինի և իմ ծառան, եթե մեկն ինձ ծառայի, նրան կպատվի իմ հայրը։
Վասն հրաժարելու անձանց ննջեցելոցս Տեր աղաչեսու
Տեր ողորմիա
Վասն քավության մեղած և թողության անցանած սորայը մերս Տեր աղաչեսու
Տեր ողորմիա
Վասն հոգվոցն հանգուցելոց որ ճշմարիտ և ողիղ հավատովի Քրիստոս ննջեցին ըստ Տեր աղաչեսու
Հիշյա Տեր և ողորմիա, Տեր ողորմիա, Տեր ողորմիա, Տեր ողորմիա Քրիստոս Աստված Դու որ հավիտենության թագավորն ես և ամեն ինչ քո ողորմությամբ ես տնօրինում, մեր խնդրածից ու իմացածից էլ ավելի, ամեն ինչ քո ողորմությամբ ես անում և ամեն ինչ, որ մեզ մարդկանց տվեցիր, ուզեցիր, որ մեր բարիքին ծառայի, ընդունիր նորոգ հանգուցյալ, Markar, Grigorian, անուն ծառայի հոգին ու հանգստացրու նրան քո սրբերի հետ, որոնք սկզբից ի վեր քո կամքը կատարեցին, ընդունիր նրան արդարների շարքում և քեզ սիրողներին վերապահված հարգերում բնագեցրու, ու եթե իբրև մարդ սխալներ է գործել, լինեն դրանք խոսքով, գործով կամ մտքով, դու որ մարդասեր և բարերար ես, ով Աստված, ներիր նրան և մեզ բոլորիս արժանի արա մեր կյանքը խաղաղությամբ կնքելու և երկնքի արքայությունը ժառանգելու, որպեսզի ամեն բանում փառավորենք քեզ, Հորը և Սուրբ Հոգու հետ, այժմ և միշտ, և հավիտյանս հավիտենից, ամեն։ Քրիստոս Աստված, հարահանգիստ եւ ողորմություն, եւ մեզ մեղավորացը շնորհյա, սկավություն եւ ըստողություն անցանած։
Եվ եղս խաղության ստերոջ Եսուկ, վասնագության հոգույն աղաչ Եսուկ սպրկիչեն մեր Քրիստոս, զի ըզնան դարտարցն դասեսե, եւ մեզ կեցուսե շնորհի ողորմության յուրո, ամենակալ Տեր Աստված մեր, կեցո եւ ողորմյա։
Տեր ողորմյա, Տեր ողորմյա, Տեր ողորմյա, Քրիստոս Աստծո որդի, որ ներողամիտ ես եւ բարեգութ, քո արարչական սիրովդ գտա հանգուցյալ ծառաներիդ, մանավանդ նորոգ հանգուցյալ Markar Grigorian անուն ծառայի հոգին, հիշիր նրան քո արքայության մեծ օրվա գալստյան ժամանակ, արժանի արա ողորմության, քաբության եւ մեղքերի թողության, պայծառության դասավորիր քո աջ կողմի վրա սրբերիդ հետ, որովհետև դու ես բոլորի Տերն ու Արարիչը, ողջերի, մեռելների դատավորը եւ քեզ վայելում է փառքը, իշխանությունը եւ պատիվը այժմ եւ միշտ եւ հավիտյանս հավիտենից ամեն։ Ստեցեք։ Սգագիր ներկաներ, ես այս պահին պիտի հրավիրեմ հանգուցյալի տղային Քարլին, որ ձեզ ընթերցի հանգուցյալի մահախոսականը։
Markar Grigorian was born in 1940 in Tehran, Iran, to Edward Grigorian and Nunya Davidkhanian. He attended the Kushesh Davidyan High School. Having graduated from high school, he pursued higher education in England, where he eventually earned a doctorate in structural engineering from Oxford University. During his university days, he excelled in track and field, and at one point was the university champion in 400 meters hurdles events. He married Margaret Karapetian during his last years at Oxford. The marriage lasted 6 years and resulted in the birth of his one and only son, me. Upon his return to Iran, he was recruited as a professor of engineering at the Arya Mer, now Sharif University, and we have a number of his former students and some of the faculty here with us today. Within 2 years of his engagement at the university, he founded the Faculty of Structural Engineering and served as the chairman of the faculty for many years, during which he conducted research and published scientific articles. In 1978, he was appointed CEO of Iritech, a civil engineering and infrastructure design firm with over 2,000 employees at the time. They mainly dealt in petrochemical facilities. It was an international firm. In his leisure time, he studied karate, Japanese traditional karate, and coached track and field at the Ararat Sports Complex. And today we have some of his former athletes here with us, producing several athletes who held national records as well as Asian records. Following the Iranian Revolution, he moved to the United States, established himself in Glendale. He established a structural engineering and consulting firm of MGA, which is managed today by his son, me. He continued his interest in karate, eventually reaching the level of 6-degree black belt, which is it's a very great accomplishment in the martial arts world. The 1988 Spitak earthquake in Armenia and the subsequent conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh substantially changed the course of his life. He became engaged in the earthquake recovery work, contributed to the improvement of Armenia's seismic codes, established a humanitarian organization to assist the families impacted by the war, and was involved in numerous engineering projects initiated by diaspora organizations and institutions. Those projects included work with the Armenian Missionary Association, the Armenian General Benevolent Union, the Hovnanian International, Kafestian Foundation, and the American University of Armenia. One of his great accomplishments was the design of the American University of Armenia, Paramas Avedisian building. While engaged in professional activities, he also built a lasting relationship with the Armenian Karate Federation, organizing many exchanges between the Federation and its US counterparts, organizing tournaments and training clinics. He never lost contact with the Sharif University, always participating in their gatherings, anniversaries. He attended technical conferences in Iran at the Sharif University, engaged in cooperation and research in the field of structural and earthquake engineering with young professors and graduate students. He published over 200 scientific articles over his lifetime, and last year, at the age of 82, 83, he won the United Kingdom Institution of Civil Engineers Frederick Palmer Best Paper Award. It's quite an accomplishment for someone at 82, 83. Sadly, Markar passed away due to illness on June 5th. In Yerevan, he is survived by his sister Marie, grandchildren Mark, Rita, and Peter. Nieces and nephews Celine, Emin, Naz, and Bahram, and in-laws Jamshid and Medik, and son and daughter, myself, and Nazik, my wife. May he rest in peace. Together with my two sons, Mark and Peter.
All right. Okay. My grandpa was unlike any other grandpa. I don't say that because I'm biased. I say that because it's true, even though I am biased. He was nothing short of a superhero for myself and my brothers for as long as we can remember. He was our personal coach in all athletic endeavors and our most esteemed advisor throughout life. He enjoyed coaching, studying, teaching, training in karate, having discussions about the purpose of life and nature, eating Chinese food with his grandchildren, and hanging out at the local coffee bean with his friends, where he'd somehow end up helping a random high schooler with their math homework. For me personally, he was an inspiration and one of my greatest motivators. I can't remember a time when my grandpa didn't believe in my capabilities more than he really should have. His conviction was so strong that anyone would end up believing in it. This belief is what drives you forward. It's a rare gift to have someone like this in your life, and I know he played similar roles for many others. At 84 years old, he still accompanied me to the gym to get his exercise in, and would still occasionally show up at our front door, dripping in sweat, and claim to have just finished his run. He was still writing and submitting award-winning scientific articles and spitting out ideas and theories about life and nature in our living room that most people will never come across in a lifetime. He was still traveling across the world to visit old friends and colleagues and collect more. For many people, he was an anomaly, which was one of my favorite things about him. I got to brag about how cool my grandpa was and all the wild things he came up with. He's been described as a genius and as crazy by myself and definitely others. He'd take both as compliments, which I believe they are. I remember some time ago, a friend of my grandpa's had passed away, and I found my grandpa sitting in the living room where he told me that life was too short to not love each other. He said nothing else matters.
Many of you saw my grandpa as a friend, as a coach, as a sensei. For us, he was just grandpa. And I think I speak for my brother and my sister when I say there was nothing like having my grandpa by our side throughout our lives. He was a great man And they say that you're a combination of all the people that you meet in your life. And I think that all of us here today will have a piece of him in our hearts for the rest of our lives. Thank you.
Սգագիր ներկաներ հանգուցյալ Markar Grigoriանի մահվան տխուր առիթով իր խորազգաց ցավակցություններն է փոխանցում նաև Արցախի նախկին թեմի առաջնորդ գերաշնորհ Պարքև arczepiskopos Martirosյանը, որը դժբախտաբար այսօր իր սրտի բժշկի այցելության պատճառով չկարողացավ այստեղ մասև բաժին ունենալ, որովհետև ինքն էր ուզում իր խոսքը ուղղել նաև այս տխուր առիթով Գրիգորյան ընտանիքին։ Այսօր, երբ որ մենք բոլորս եկել ենք եկեղեցի, բերել ենք մեզ հետ հանգուցյալ Markar Grigorյանին, կնշանակի եկեղեցուց դուրս, դռներից դուրս թողել ենք մեր ամեն ինչը։ Դրսում եկել ենք այստեղ մի նպատակի համար։ Այդ նպատակը Աստծուն փնտրելն է։ Աստծուն փնտրել ինչի համար։ Այ քիչ առաջ թորնիկները երբ որ խոսում էին այն բարի հիշատակի համար, որպեսզի իրենց սիրելի պապիկը միշտ ապրի իրենց կյանքի մեջ։ Բայց որպեսզի ապրի, հարկավոր է Աստված փնտրել։ Պողոս առաքյալը ասում է, բարի պատերազմը մղեցի, կյանքիս ընթացքը ավարտեցի, բայց հավատքովս մնացի։ Կնշանակի ամեն ինչից վեր մենք կարող ենք մեր կյանքի մեր բարի պատերազմը մղել, մեր կյանքի ընթացքը ավարտել, բայց հարկավոր է հավատքով մնալ, որովհետև այդ հավատքն է, որ մեզ պիտի տանի դեպի Աստված։ Նշանավոր մի ռուս գրող հետևյալ միտքն է արտահայտում։ Ասում է, ես մաղթում եմ և ցանկանում եմ, որ իմ հոգին կենդանի մնա, ոչ թե մեռած։ Որովհետև ասում է, այդ հոգու մի դուր կա, որ կենդանի կմնա, դա մեր Տերը Հիսուս Քրիստոսն է։ Մենք երբ որ գալիս ենք եկեղեցի, սիրելի սգագիրներ, այդ մեկ դռան համար ենք գալիս, որովհետև Քրիստոսը մեր կյանքի ճանապարհը դեպի հավիտենականություն։ Մենք, ես վստահ եմ, Markar Grigorյանը իր կյանքը լի ու լի ապրեց, ինչ որ ունեցավ, Աստված իրեն ինչ շնորհք որ տվել էր այս աշխարհում գործածելու, տվեց աշխարհին։ Այսօր այն տունը այլևս իրենը չէ, որտեղ ապրում էր, այսօր այն մեքենան, որ ինքը վարում էր, այլևս իրենը չէ, այսօր այն դրամը, եթե ուներ բանկերում, այլևս իրենը չէ, բայց մի բան իրենն է, հոգին։ Հոգին կա, այս աշխարհում ինչն է մնում հավերժ, Աստված, Աստուծո խոսքը և մեկ էլ հոգին, որ տվել էր։ Այսօր այդ հոգին է բացակա այստեղից։ Էս իր մահացած մարմնից միայն հոգին է բացակա, և թե հոգին այստեղ լիներ, նորից պիտի գնար վազեր, նորից պիտի գնար Արարատ մարզասրահ զբաղվեր, նորից պիտի գնար ճամփորդեր Հայաստան, Ղարաբաղ, ամերիկյան համալսարան, իր աշխատանքը պիտի աներ, բայց այդ հոգին չկա։ Մենք այսօր եկել ենք այստեղ այդ հոգու համար աղոթելու, որովհետև այդ հոգին ուր պիտի գնա։ Պիտի գնա իր Տիրոջ երեսը նայելու, դեպի Աստված։ Դրա համար հարկավոր է, որ մենք այսօր եկեղեցու դռներից դուրս թողենք մեր ամեն տեսակի մտածումները և մեր սրտի անկեղծ աղոթք ուղղենք Աստուծո Տեր, ընդունիր Markar-ի հոգին քո հավիտենական տների մեջ, որ դու խոստացար տալ բոլոր քեզ հավատացողներին։ Այո, մենք կարող ենք գալ աշխարհ, ամեն մեկս տարբեր մասնագիտությամբ ապրել այս աշխարհը, կառուցել, շենացնել, ստեղծել, բայց գիտենք, որ այդ բոլորը պիտի մեր ձեռքից գնա։ Վահան Թեքյանը ինչ է ասում, կյանքեն ինձի ինչ մնաց, ինչ որ տվի, այն միայն։ Այսօր ինչ որ թողել է Markar Grigoriանը, դա է ձեզի մենակ հիշատակ մնում։ Եթե թորները կարողանան անընդհատ հիշել եւ կապը հաստատել իր հոգու հետ, կնշանակի Markar ապրում է իրենց մեջ, իրենց հետ, այս աշխարհի վրա։ Եվ ամեն անգամ, երբ որ հնչի իր անունը իրենց բերանում, ինքը պիտի փառավորվի երկնքում, պիտի ուրախանա, որ ուրեմն ինչ որ թողել եմ, ինձի հիշում են մարդիկ։ Եվ այդ մեկ դուրը մի մոռացեք ժողովուրդ, մեր Տերն ու Փրկիչ Հիսուս Քրիստոսն է։ Ինքը եկավ այս աշխարհ մեզանից ամեն մեկին ցույց տալու ճանապարհը։ Եկավ այս աշխարհ, որպեսզի դառնա մարդկային տիպար օրինակը ապրելու, գործելու, ստեղծագործելու այս աշխարհում եւ հետք թողելու։ Ինքը դարձավ մեր աչքերը բացողը հոգևոր բարոյական արժեքների, որ մենք հասկանանք ինչի համար ենք ապրում այս աշխարհում։ Միայն մեզ համար, ոչ։ Մենք ապրում ենք իրար համար։ Մեր սիրով հարգելու մեկս մյուսին, մեր աշխատանքով զորացնելու մեկս մյուսին եւ մեր կյանքի ավարտին էլ մարդիկ են, որ գալիս են մեզի ճանապարհելու մի ուրիշ աշխարհ։ Նշանավոր գիտեք այդ ժամանակի փարավոններից մեկը իր որդուն հետևյալ խրատն է տալիս։ Որդիս ասում է, երբ որ գահ բարձրանաս, թող Աստված քեզ օրհնի այդ գահ բարձրանալիս, բայց երբ որ կյանքդ ավարտվի, մարդիկ թող գնահատեն քո ապրած կյանքը։ Այսօր դուք եք այդ մարդիկը, որ եկել եք եւ գնահատում եք կյանքը Markar Grigoriani։ Թող ձեր բոլորի աղոթքը դառնա Աստուծո մոտ այն սերը, այն նվիրվածությունը, որ դուք ապրել եք, այսօր հիշում եք Markar Grigorianին եւ դառնում եք մխիթարակից Grigorian ընտանիքին։ Այսօր նրանք մխիթարության պետքություն ունեն։ Այսօր նրանք ձեր բոլորի ներկայության պետքություն ունեն, որ բաժանեք ցավն ու տրտմությունը, դառնաք իրենց համար խունկ եւ աղոթք եւ ասեք բարի ճանապարհ քեզ Markar Grigorian, որ դու ապրեցիր քո կյանքը, տվեցիր ամեն ինչ այս աշխարհին, մեզի բոլորիս, իբրև ընկեր, իբրև բարեկան, իբրև հարևան, եւ մենք էլ պարտավոր ենք քեզի հիշելու եւ միշտ աղոթելու քո հոգու խաղաղության ու փրկության համար։ Ամեն։ Աստված թող իր հոգին լուսավորի մեր բոլորի ցավակցությունները Grigorian ընտանիքին, ապրեք երկար, ապրեք հավատքով, ապրեք երջանիկ, բայց միշտ հիշեք ձեր սիրելի Markar Grigorianին։ Սքակիրներ, քիչ հետո արարողությունը մենք կշարունակենք Glendale Forest Lawn գերեզմանատանը, որ գտնվում է Glendale փողոցի վրա։ Հետևաբար, քիչ հետո, երբ որ անցնեք ձեր հրաժեշտը տակ հանգուցյալին, կարող եք ճանապարհվել դեպի Glendale գերեզմանատուն, այնտեղ սպասեք մեռելակարգին եւ հետևեք մինչեւ գերեզմանատուն։ Գերեզմանի ավարտից հետո ընտանիքի կողմից հրավիրված եք Իրանահայ միության մշակութային տունը մասնակցելու հոգեհացին։ Հիմա խնդրեմ ոտքի ելնենք եւ միասին հայր մեր ասենք։ Օրդյան Տեր մեր Հիսուս Քրիստոս ամեն հայր մեր, որ դինս ես, Սուրբ եղիցի անուն քո, եկեցե արքայություն քո, եղիցի կամ քո, որպես երկինս եւ երկրի, ըսած մեր հանապազոր դուր մեզ այսօր, եւ թող մեզ սպարտիս մեր, որպես եւ մենք թողունք մերոց սպարտապանած, եւ մի տանիվս մեզի փոքրություն, այդ գյալս մեզի չարեր, զիքոյի արքայություն եւ զորություն եւ փառք Հավիտյանս ամեն։ Ստեցեք։ Եվ ևս խաղության ստերանջես կնգալգեցնու և մողորմիա, Օրհնություն եւ փառքով եւ օրհնություն եւ օգնություն։
Let's go. This way, this way, this way. This way, straight, straight, straight. Over here. Ուրիշ մի հատ բարձրացանք ստեղ։ Ռոլիկին հագիս բոլորս գալիս ենք։ Կարեք, կյանքը բարձացրին։ Երացա։
Ցավաղագի մարգես եկեսը և միլար ծուսաներ սերեսս կողին են հալելույա հորըտի աղություն ամենեցում և ընթոքույթքում երկուացությամբ լբարուկ սրպավետարան Իսուսի Քրիստոսի որստով բաննու Հարկես Տեր Աստված մեր փորոց խումյասի Աստված մեր Տերը Հիսուս Քրիստոս ասում է Ինչու եք զարմանում, որովհետև կգա ժամանակ, երբ բոլոր նրանք, որ գերեզմաններում են, կլսեն նրա ձայնը և դուրս կգան, ովքեր բարի գործեր են արել, կյանքի հարության համար, իսկ ովքեր չար գործեր են արել, Դալաստանի հարության համար, ես ինքսինցնից ոչինչ անել չեմ կարող, այլ ինչպես լսում եմ օրիցը դատում եմ, և իմ Դալաստանն արդար է, որովհետև ոչ թե իմ գամքն եմ որոնում, այլ նրա գամքը, ով ինձ առակ է։ Եվ ևս խաղությանս Տեր աղաչես ու գնգալգեցո և ողորմիավորնիատեր ողորմության քովս հողս Markar Grigorian ծառայի կայցորիկ և հիշասազի հողեր և Անդրենի հող դարձավս հրամանիկում օրդնիատեր ողորմության քովս հողս Markar Grigorian ծառայի կայցորիկ և հիշասազի հողեր և Անդրենի հող դարձավս հրամանիկում օրդնիատեր ողորմության քովս հողս Markar Grigorian ծառայի կայսորիկ և հիշասազի հողեր և Անդրենի հող դարձավս հրամանիկում օրդնություն աստվածայինից է հող մահուսորին և Հիսուսե հորեն վերջին ամամփոն և օրդո և օգնում դրդող այժմ և միշտ և ավիտյանս ավիտենից ամեն Տեր ողորմիա, Տեր ողորմիա, Տեր ողորմիա, հոգիների Աստված, մարմինների ստեղծիչ, արդարների Տերն ես, մեռելների հարությունը, բարիքների պարգևիչն ես, սգավորների մխիթարիչը և հանգուցիչը նրանց, որոնք քեզ հավատալով ննջեցին։ Միացնիտ աշխարհ գալով անպատմելի խոստում տվեցիր, խոստացար մեռելներին հարություն տալ, քո ամենակարող և հզոր խոսքով ասելով. Ինձ եկեք բոլորով գնացնել ու ծանրաբեռնվածներ, և ես հանգիստ պիտի տամ ձեզ այդ խոսքից համաձայն հանգիստ շնորհիվ քո այս նորոգ հանգուցյալ Markar Grigorian անուն ծառայի հոգի։ Տեր Աստված, ու փառավոր արքայությանդ հանգստին արժանացողների ցանկում արձանագրիր նրան և հավիտենական հարկերի մեջ տեղ տուր, և եթե մարդ կորեն մեղանչել է այս աշխարհին հատուկ հանցանքներով, բան լուծանելի խոսքով թողություն շնորհիր, իր հոգին ազատիր ամեն մեղքից և սին խաբկանքներից, և օրհնիր այս ամբողջ ժողովրդին, որովհետև բոլոր արարածները փառավորում են քեզ ամենասուրբ Տեր, այժմ և միշտ և ավիտյանս ավիտենից ամեն, Տեր ուղղյաց գնացս մեր, ի ճանապարհս խաղաղության, Տեր ուղղյա և առաջնորդյա, հոգվոց մերոց և ամենայն հավատացելով, գնալ արդարության ճանապարհը և իքյանս հավիտենից, աղաչես սուրբ զամենակալն Աստված, զի հաջողյալ ուղեցե ճանապարհ ծառայությունոց, ի բարի և ի խաղաղություն, ամենակալ Տեր Աստված մեր, կեցո և ողորմյա, առաջնորդ կենաց և պարգևիչ խաղաղության, Քրիստոս Աստված մեր, առաջնորդյա մեզ գնալ ի ճանապարհս քո արդարությամբ և խաղաղությամբ ժամանել ի նավահանգիստը կենաց և մտության, շնորհով ողորմությամբ քո, սիրու ես օգնական և փրկիչ մեզ, և քեզ վայելե փառք, իշխանություն և պատիվ, այժմ և միշտ և ավիտյանս ավիտենից ամեն, ողորմած Աստված քավյազանորենությունս իմ, հավատունելով հոգի խաղաղության երդարարիչը նահայցելով Աստված իմ հանգով, ես ասացի իզարմանալ իմում, թե ամենայն մարդ է, բալքոր և որդվո և ոգույն սրվո, այժմ և միշտ և հավիտյանս հավիտենից ամեն, ընդ Քրիստոսի պահելով, աղթողից ու փորձողին, և ընտրիշտակս երկս սուրբ, փառքի բարձունս երկրպագությունի բարձունս հոր, և որդվո և ոգուն սրբով, այժմ և միշտ և ավիտյանս ավիտենից ամեն, Bormiam, Ogbotzen mer, non ջետելոց, հոգվույն հանգուցելույն Քրիստոս Աստված, արահանգիս և ողորմություն, և մեզ մեղավորացը շնորհի ազգավություն և ըստողություն անցանած, Տեր ողորմիա, Տեր ողորմիա, Տեր ողորմիա, Քրիստոս Աստծո որդի, որ ներողամիտ ես և բարեգութ, քո արարչական սիրովդ գտա անգուցյալ ծառաներիդ, մանավանդ նորոգանգուցյալ Markar Grigorian անուն ծառայի հոգի, հիշիր նրան քո արքայության մեծ օրվա գալստյան ժամանակ, արժանի արա ողորմության, քավության, մեղքերի թողության, պայծառության դասավորիր քո աջ կողմի վրա սրբերիդ հետ, որովհետև դու ես բոլորի Տերն ու Արարիչը, ողջերի մեռելների դադավորը, և քեզ վայել են փառք իշխանությունը պատիվը, այժմ և միշտ և ավիտյանս ավիտենից ամեն, օրտնեսի և կնքյալ պահեսի, գերեզման և ոսկեր, Markar Grigorian ծառայիս Աստուծո, նշանավ Սուրբ Խաչիս, բանիվ Սուրբ ավետարանիս, անուն Հոր և Որդու և Ոգու Սրբո, և ևս խաղաղությանս Տեր աղաչես ու գնգալ գեցշո և ողորմիա օրտնեսի, և կնքյալ պահեսի, շիրիմ և ոսկեր, Markar Grigorian ծառայիս Աստուծո, նշանավ Սուրբ Խաչիս, բանիվ Սուրբ ավետարանիս, անուն Հոր և Որդու և Ոգու Սրբո, և ևս խաղաղությանս Տեր աղաչես ու գնգալ գեցշո և ողորմիա օրտնեսի, և կնքյալ պահեսի, դամբարան և ոսկեր, Markar Grigorian ծառայիս Աստուծո, նշանավ Սուրբ Խաչիս, բանիվ Սուրբ ավետարանիս, անուն Հոր և Որդու և Ոգու Սրբո, Գեցուսե և ողորմեցյան շարժ եղիցի կնիկ Տերնույան, իվերակ գերեզմանից, Markar Grigorian ծառայիս Աստուծո, մինչև իգալուստն Քրիստոսի, որ եկյալ մյուս անգամ նորոգեսե, Փարոքի փառս Հոր և Որդու և Ոգու Սրբո, այժմ և միշտ և ավիտյանս օրհնյալ Տեր մեր Հիսուս Քրիստոս ամեն, Հայր մեր, որ երկինս ես Սուրբ եղիցի անուն քո, եկես է արքայություն քո, եղիցին կամ քո, որպես երկինս է ներգրի, սաց մեր հանապազոր դուր մեզ այսօր, և թող մեզ սպարդիս մեր, որպես և մենք թողունք մերոց սպարդապանած, և մի տանիրս մեզի փորձություն, այլ փրկյազ մեզի չարե, զիքոյ արքայություն և զորություն և փառք ավիտյանս ամեն, օրհնյալ եղել Քրիստորած Սուրբ Հոգու և դարձ խաղաղություն և Տեր Հիսուս եղիցին ձեզ ընդ ամենեցյանսը ամեն։
Tamam. Thank you, bud.
was endowed with a brain that was extremely powerful, extremely fast, always worked at lightning speed. He could come up with anything like this without any notes. He would just go and speak, and he would charm people, and he would cheer people, and you should see this was 4 weeks ago. I never heard my father complain about work. He never came home and said, I'm tired, this happened, that happened, I'm frustrated. And there was a trick to all this. I don't think he ever worked. I don't think he ever considered it work. Because my father would do what was interesting for him. He literally would do only what was interesting for him. And the moment it stopped being interesting, he would stop and do something else. So when he worked as an engineer, and by the way, this building is a building that my father designed, and you'll notice that this is a pretty big span, and there is a second floor. So somehow I made the whole thing stand up without any columns to obstruct your movements. But I'm sure when he was doing it, he was enjoying himself. And I'm not going to read this. Anyway, I'm going to make it up. So that's what he did. He did engineering. When he did engineering, it was fun for him. It was a challenge. So this building was a challenge for him. When we designed the American University building in Yerevan, it was a challenge for him. It was a game for him. He was playing. If he wrote a scientific article, he was again playing. He enjoyed it. And again, the moment he stopped enjoying it, he would move on to something else. I never saw my dad be stuck in a decision. I get stuck in a decision. Sometimes I wait 2-3 days, sometimes a month before I make a decision. I weigh the options, pluses and minuses. Dad would just take the next step. He knew exactly what to do. Action, action, action. No pause. And how did he do it? Sometimes I think he just had a phenomenal brain and he could calculate all those things, all the options, everything that took me 2 months, maybe he just did it like that. But if I asked him, he would say, you got to listen to your instincts. Somehow, I don't ever remember him being sad. I don't remember my dad regretting anything. I don't think he knew what depression was. And there was also a trick to that. Because I think he was always living in the moment. So if you live in the moment, you don't think about the past, you can't regret things because your mind is not in the past. You were just there, you were present. And he never worried about the future too much either. So people take all sorts of spiritual classes, they find gurus who teach them that thing. Somehow, he was just that way every day. Every day he was present, doing what he wanted, didn't worry about the past, didn't fear the future. Again, maybe his sister can tell you how he became that way. I wasn't around, but I just experienced it. So after my dad passed, I thought, let me see what physical possessions my dad had. Material things. You know, some people collect expensive watches, expensive cars, expensive pens, rings. I can't find anything that my dad valued that was material. So, nothing. He's got 3 Oxford ties, some cufflinks from Oxford. He's got some Sharif University memorabilia. Actually, many Sharif University memorabilia. And then nothing else. Somehow he wasn't attached to material things. I think it's probably 20 years ago when he checked his bank accounts, he would just say, go figure out what we have. Just wasn't interested. Remember, he never worked for money. He worked because it was interesting for him. He did things because they were interesting for him. And they happened to be lucrative, the things he did. But never worried about it, never displayed it. He was financially successful, but he never cared. He did value his friends. He did value his friendships. So I encountered an interesting gentleman, he may still be here, Dr. Tehrani, and he said something interesting to me. He said he came to the US some 20 years ago, and he met my dad. My dad helped him. He says my dad helped him a lot in many endeavors and whatnot. And like Dr. Tehrani, I keep meeting people who tell me that nobody in their lives has helped them as much as my dad has. And Dr. Tehrani said something interesting. He said, I thought I was special for your dad. And then he says, we organized a couple of trips to Iran, and he went to Iran with my dad, and he says, all of a sudden I realized I wasn't special. He said, your dad was doing this for everybody. And that's a common theme with my dad. He never talked about it, so I'm just still discovering the way that he interacted with people. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, he was unstoppable. He really, sometimes I meet young people. Somebody will tell me, I hurt my knee. I should have surgery. It was 10 years ago. I don't want to do it. My dad, he was in track and field. He coached a lot of people. Some of his athletes are here today. He was very successful as a coach. At national champs in Iran, at Asian champs in Iran. And there was always injury. Somebody was always hurt, and he was always hurt because he was also doing karate. So there was always a broken toe, a dislocated something, a torn ligament, a torn meniscus. He would be hanging upside down because his back was hurting. There was always an injury, but it never stopped him. So I tell some of the young people I meet that have an injury, and so I say, my dad had a total of 13 knee surgeries. He had 6 on one, 7 on the other, and at the age of 62, after his last surgery, 2 weeks after the surgery, he went to Canada. He competed in a karate championship in the 60 and above category, and he won first place. So he just couldn't stop. So an injury for him was just a small hindrance. You overcome, you go. And he did this on his last trip to Iran. Before he went to Iran, he was weak. He would take 20 steps and he would run out of breath. And we, of course, didn't know what was going on with him. He went to doctors. We would hear little snippets. The truth was that his kidneys were failing. His heart was weak. His lungs were worn out. And he would periodically have bleeding, internal bleeding. His eyesight was bad. His hearing was bad. Yet, he decided that he wasn't going to sit around the house and rot away. He decided that he was going to fly halfway across the world to Yerevan, then hang out with his friends. And by the way, it was a bunch of his childhood friends from kindergarten that he was hanging out with there. And then he goes to Iran. He participates in 2 conferences In one of them, he's the chairman of the conference. In the other one, he gives the keynote speech. And he called me from Iran just about this time, and he said, son, I'm having a ball here. So he was unstoppable. Physical injury, illness, nothing stopped him. He just wanted to do what he wanted to do, the things that were interesting for him. And those things gave him energy, and he just kept on going. So I would come to him, I would say, Dad, I only have so much time. I can do A, B, or C. Which one should I do? He had a standard answer. He would say, you're going to do A and B and C all together, because you start and you figure out that you can. You don't start with limiting yourself. You just take the first step and you do it. Second piece of advice he had for me is that in life, if you want to advance yourself, you don't advance yourself. You advance the people who work under you. You advance the people who are above you, who supervise you, and you advance the colleagues that are on the same level as you. And as they advance, you advance. And I think he applied that to family, friends, community, and nation. That's how he thought things should be. And I don't think he was helping the people around him because he wanted to advance. He was already advanced. But I always take that advice to heart. So finally, this man there is no way I can replicate his sense of humor, but when you live in the moment, have no regrets, no fear, you have a lightning fast brain, you also have a sense of humor. And he was famous for that sense of humor. And I can't attest to that, but there are those here who can. Finally, he loved his grandchildren, and he loved to philosophize. So he wrote a book, an entire book, which I'm just reading now and I find very interesting. It's called In Search of the Mind, and he dedicated it to his grandchildren. And the dedication page says, do I love you because you carry my genes, or do I love my genes carried by you? In any case, you're my genes. You are his genes. So, I will leave the microphone to those who want to speak about my dad, Markar. And thank you for coming today and honoring my father and my family. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hussein Grigorian, a former student of Mark, assistant professor of Sharif University and technical fellow at General Motors Research Labs, and I have some prepared remarks. Today we have gathered in memory and honor of our beloved professor, colleague and friend, Dr. Mark Grigorian, who was born July 11, 1940 in Tehran and passed away June 5, 2024 in Yerevan, Armenia. A truly great man of integrity, a multidimensional man, kind and gentle, who trained generations of students at all levels of education and research at Arya Mer University, now Sharif. in Tehran. He was a universal man, as much committed to his homeland Iran as he was to the welfare of mankind, whether in Armenia or elsewhere, where he had strong cultural connections. He had touched many hearts. I vividly remember his first appearance in the newly established university in 1966, when the head of mechanical engineering department, Dr. Kazem Kormi, who himself was just hired from the Petroleum Institute, Danishkade Naft Abadan, introduced him. He looked very young, handsome, and of high spirits. Had graduated from Oxford University and joined his other colleagues, Dr. Bijan Alami from Imperial College. He's here today. Please raise your hand. And his beautiful wife, Ingrid, is here too. So he was joined by Dr. Bijan Alami and Dr. Dawood Ardebili from Queen Mary College. They formed the backbone of the new mechanical engineering department, each having a number of assistants to help them start classes and laboratories in no time. It was a time of high hopes and expectations. At the helm of the university was His Imperial Majesty, overseeing every activity. With the initial academic staff of about 22 professors, all of high energy, the foundations of the most prestigious university in Iran was established, and Mark played a major role in it. It behooves us to mention that we owe it to the vision, leadership, and dedication of the late Dr. Muhammad Ali Mushtahidi from Alborz High School, who traveled the world to find and convince the brightest minds of Iranians to return home and participate in this educational and research revolution. As the first class of 1966 students, we were very fortunate to have him as our teacher. He was happy to be there in Tehran. He was humble and friendly with all the students. I still remember the excitement when a police officer had stopped his car due to a traffic violation. The officer asked him about his profession, and he said that he's a professor. The officer asked, where? When he replied, at Aryamer University, the officer told him, you know what? I'm going to waive the ticket and let you go. Please drive carefully. He was dazzled, undeterred, and very pleased with this event. As I mentioned, Mark was a multidimensional man, a structural engineer by training, an artist at heart, a philosopher by nature, and a sportsman. Remember, he was a black belt karate. Obviously, we are sad and in a state of grief, and words cannot convey the depth of our sorrow and sympathy for Mark's family and friends. But this afternoon, we are here to celebrate his life, his humanity, generosity, his sense of humor, and his hard work. He was ready to help anyone asking for it. He was very much liked by people, had many friends, old and new, a kind person. His love of artwork, fun-loving. Now, let's take a diversion for a few minutes, because we are in LA area. We are near Hollywood, and we are in the Armenian community. So I want to take this diversion and say that Mark was not the only popular Armenian in Iran. we had someone even more popular. The king of Persian jazz, Grigorian, with his powerful voice, he was considered Elvis Presley of Iran at the time. He introduced guitar into Persian music and partnered with some of the most famous actually, Iranian female singers like Delkash, Elahe, and Ramesh. He had about 600 pieces of music generated. And if you ask people, they have different priorities, which one is the best. But I have selected 3. One that he sang was Mara Bebus, Kiss Me. Then it was Shadumat, The Groom, and Besuye Sarnadesh, Towards the Destiny. I'd like to take the opportunity to pay tribute to this man that had brought so much happiness into the lives of Iranians as well as Armenians. He was in the heart and mind of millions of people in the region and beyond. He passed away in 2003, but his legacy lives on. Let me read one song from him in the Destiny song. Our spring has passed. The bygones are bygones. I'm in search of destiny. In the midst of a storm, among boatmen, one must move forward at the risk of life. In the dark of the night, I meet with my beloved to light up the mountain with fire. Now, back to our work. Professionally, Markar was very well connected and successful. First time after the Iranian Revolution I met him in the US was in his MGA office in LA in 1984, not far from here. He was running 2 companies at the time and working with Dr. Bijan Alami in San Francisco too. At that time, I had a short-term assignment with Bijan, and both Mark and Bijan had interest in the design of earthquake-resistant structures. What I observed was that he was very methodic, dependable, with lots of ideas, a sharp mind, always going the extra mile, even when it was not due. I was impressed with his power of concentration, truly living in the present moment. Mark was quite content, peaceful, joyful, and young in spirit, of even temper. He hardly ever complained. In retrospect, he had a good life and conducted himself with integrity and sincerity. He was outspoken, quite straightforward to work with. We had many fond memories of him that will cherish us for the long time to come. Mark lives in our heart and our memories, as in the poem by Hafiz, that when the flower is gone, we live with the memory of the flower. In reality, there is no death, but deathlessness. As our beloved spirit master Maulana Rumi explains in the opening of Masnavi, it is only a transformation. Now I want to actually read some poems in Persian related to these issues. It's from Hafiz. هاشا که من به موسم گل ترک می کنم، من لاف عقل میزنم این کار کی کنم. مطرب کجاست تا همه محصول زهد و علم، در کار چنگ و بربط و آواز نی کنم. از قیل و قال مدرسه حالی دلم گرفت، یک چند نیز خدمت معشوق و می کنم. کی بود در زمان وفا جام می بیار، تا من حکایت جم و کاووس کی کنم. There is no translation for this. Thank you. I convey the message from many of our friends back in Iran and here as well. The message to the family and friends is this: we share your grief and mourn with you. Your loss is indeed our loss. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. And finally, we are resigned to what has happened. Let thy will be done. At last, he is free. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. It means a lot to me and my family. And please continue eating. Markar would not want you to go hungry. As I'm speaking, it's okay. Your subconscious will take it in. Nazikja, thank you for your immense love for my brother. You loved him, cared for him, just like you would do for your father. And Nazikjan, he loved you, just like you were his own daughter. So my brother Markar's persona, as Carl said, was larger than life with extraordinary accomplishments. I'm comforted by knowing that he was busy doing what he loved to do the last days of his life. Lecturing, sharing information with his old new students and colleagues. Many called him genius, benevolent, eccentric, generous, kind, bold, thought-provoker, contributor to his society, and contributing to whoever he came across in his life. He was a teacher, a professor, engineer, and science devotee. Our neighbors thought his name is Miara, which means don't do it. Because all they could hear was my mom saying, Miara, 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 because he wanted to touch everything when he was little. He wanted to take everything apart to find out what it's made of. I call him my brother, my hero, my love. Today, I'm not going to talk about who he was in this world. I will talk about his loving heart. I will share some memories in our childhood and our lives and how they impacted my life. I met him when he was 9 years old and already had experienced a huge loss. Loss of his first sister, Eleanor, who died when she was only 18 months old. So when I was born, it was God's gift. He was beside himself. Once again, he had a sister. He called me Achuk, which means little girl. And to this day, when members of family, friends call me Achuk, I feel that love too. I really feel that Achuk. My mom told me that during the first couple of months of my life, Markar used to run around my crib constantly when he was home. He was protecting me and would not let anybody touch me or hold me unless it was mom and dad. I was his. I was his little sister. I was his doll. Once he propped me on a high shelf on the wall, like an ornament, watching me while he was jumping up and down with joy. I guess he was experimenting the human strength. My mom was sitting in the corner and sewing something with a sewing machine. I was not old enough to hold my sitting position. I guess I was like 5 or 6 months. I did not have control over my limbs, So I just skewed and fell. And thank God he was there. He caught me in mid-air. I still remember the noise of that sewing machine and the feeling of being safe in his arms. I was always felt safe in his arms. When people would come visit us, he used to hide me in places that people would not look for a baby. Places like my mother's huge, big oak dresser cabinet. He would put me on top of it, and he would circle around it and make sure nobody touches me or hold me. I was his. During the first 5-6 years of my life, I was always hanging from his neck, and he was holding me very close and very strong, with a strong grip. And he would just go about the house, do whatever he wanted to do while he was eating, or whatever he was doing. It was hanging from his neck. My mother told me that every morning, before going to school, he would ask for a dakshai, which is like a penny, to buy something for me. Because every afternoon I would sit at the window watching the street, and the minute I would see Hamvaram turn the street, I would run down the stairs, stand at the door, waiting for the doorbell. And the minute the doorbell was hung, I open the door, jump up and say, "In Chespere, in Hamar, what did you bring for me?" With an anticipation. I was crazy. He would proudly and very slowly put his hand in his pocket, and there would come out a little toy, piece of candy, piece of flour shack, dried fruit. I would grab it and dance. And with excitement, I would throw myself into his arms, hang from his neck, and stay there for the rest of the day. I don't remember how long this ritual continued, but I still remember the thrill and his loving embrace. When we were a little older, Markar, big man here, would carve out little houses and little cars and little doll figures from the chalk block he would bring from the school. He would even sew little dresses and bags and little shoes from my mom's old clothing or old purse for my imaginary dolls. I didn't have a doll for it, but he would make those dresses for me. My main purpose in life was to please him. It was a privilege for me to bring him a glass of water, fetch newspaper from downstairs at the door, and walk on his back when he would just lie down, when he would just come back from a run and had a backache. I would walk tiptoeing. In summers, my parents would rent a room in a huge garden in Shemiran. There was a hill inside the property. And Markar would train me and Vahram for running, long jump, high jump, pole vault, every morning. I was so keen to please him that I would give all of me, and I would end up throwing up from exhaustion. My mom would be crazy. She would get mad at him, but we would continue this every morning. This taught me that I can stretch myself further and further, even when I have no energy. I can do that every day. And I learned the value of sports, and that helped me to end up in Iran's girls basketball national team. See that? There you go. I was 11 years old when Markar gave me this magazine, and there was an article about computers. And he said, "Look, read this." I'm 11. "And if you find any questions, I will take you to movies." Oh my God, going to movies with my hero? That was an event I could never dream of. So I read the article, and I keep reading that article, and I did not understand a word of it. And I didn't have any questions. But he came up, follow up was one of his things. Came home, he said, "Did you read it?" "Yes, I did." "Did you find any questions?" "No, I did." "Give me the article." I said, "But I can't recite it." So he sits there and reads the article, looking at the article, and I recited every word in that article. And hey, he took me to movies. That was wonderful. So computers were important to Mark. That's what I got. I mean, he wouldn't take me to movies for nothing. That caused me to obtain my master's degree in computer science from USC, which in turn enabled me to easily become US citizen and earn good living and very comfortable life. That's how he impacted my life. Every said he said, it impacted my life, my family's life forever. My hero Markar also, he failed me in Aryamesh University's entrance exam. Now it's Sharif. That changed my life's direction. He failed me. And he was very disappointed that I had failed the exam with 1 point. 1 point. He failed me for 1 point. He could have easily passed me through, but he didn't. I was so upset with him. I did not talk to him for a whole week until he sat me down and says, "Achukjan, yes, I could admit you." Him and Dr. Kormi and somebody else, 3 people. Dr. Kormi used to live with us. I mean, yes, Achukjan, I could have admitted you, but I'm not going to be there all your life to catch you when you fell. I'm not going to be there. If you want something bad enough, work for it, so that you can get it. This was the biggest lesson yet. I got to go to England though, and for higher education, and I'm forever grateful for that life experience. 1949, I think you remember, we had a 6.7 earthquake here. My house was in shambles. At 5:30 morning, my husband, my son, and I were sitting outside the curb, huddled, trembling, not knowing what to do. Here shows up Markar. He had already checked the Glendale schools, church, and Iran-Armenian club. Checked all of them, drove over there, parked the car, went inside the house and started yelling at me, "Achuk, make me some coffee." That one statement really put us in ease and helped us to resume normal life and then deal with the earthquake damages. But that's the impact he had on me. Just because he wanted to resume ordinary life, of course everything was safe, so I could do. 1995, after I resigned my job and sued this mega large corporation for discrimination, which I won, I went into deep depression. It was Mark that took me to Armenia for 2 weeks. He put my pieces together and pulled me out of depression with his compassion, love, and attention. I told him, if you ever talk to me the rest of my life, what you did for me in these 2 weeks was enough for 2 lifetimes. When we sold our home and had not yet found a new one, Markar told us to move in with him so that we don't have to hurry and then buy the first home we see. We have choices. Listen, for Markar, his privacy was very precious. So this was a big deal. We were like 4 people. We raided his home. We were there for 6 months, and this allowed us to find a beautiful home with an amazing view. Every morning when I'm sitting there sipping my coffee, I'm sending kisses and big hugs to him. During my entire life, Markar was a space of strength and love for me. He was not like other brothers, very different. I never got gifts from him for my birthday or Christmas. He never gave me things, as Markar would say. But his continuous gifts were not things. His continuous gifts were, to me and my family, was his attention, caring and loving acts that resulted in permanent benefits to our lives. He was there for anything I needed, anytime. He was my hero, my mountain, my love. And he will always be my hero, my mountain and my love. Markar, I'll see you. Till then, I'll miss you dearly.
Բարձր խոսակ ու մոտիկ խոսակ։
Ջան,
Բարձր եւ մոտիկ։
ես դե ժամանակ չեմ չարաշահել։ Նկարները ցույց տան, ես մեր անցյալ հիշեցի Markar հետ։ Markar-ը մենակ միակ պրոֆեսոր դոկտորն է, որ շայան դիտխոս ունի։ Այդ դիտխոսն էլ ջան չեն նվիրել։ Այդ դիտխոսը տալիս են մենակ նրանց, ովքեր համաշխարհային թեքվանդո մրցություններին կամ որևէ մրցություններին մասնակցում եւ առաջնություն են ձեռք բերում։ Markar այդ վաստակեց 60 տարեկանում։ 60 տարեկանում կանադայում համաշխարհային թեքվանդոյի մրցություններ էր եւ Markar-ը իր տարիքի եւ քշերի բերումով այդտեղ դիտխոսը վաստակեց։ Պատիվի։ Markar-ը ոչ մենակ Արարատի մարզիչն էր, Արարատի թեթևատլետի մարզիչ եւ պատասխանատուն էր։ Եվ իր ժամանակ Արարատի օրորտասխումբը Թերանի միջանկումային խումբերի մեջ առաջնություն շարեց։ Markar-ը Հայաստանում թեթևատլետի ֆեդերացիոնի պատվո անդամ էր։ Թեքվանդոյի հովանավորը ֆեդերացիոնի մարզիկների։ Թեքվանդոյի համար գիրք ա գրել անգլերեն։ Եվ թարգմանությունը կարծում եմ որոնում եւ մեկ էլ թեքվանդոյի կոչում։ Markar-ն այդ նրանցից էր, որ ով իրան դիմում էր, իր գիտելիքները իրանց փոխանցում էր։ Եվ սովորական անձ չէր։ Markar-ը լի գիտություններով գնաց եւ մեզ բոլորիս թողավ իր այդ բարի կյանք շնորհակալ եմ։
He was proud when he learned that I was doing karate too. He would have been much more, I am prouder, if he knew that I had at least about 8, 9 surgeries after my 40. Hello, everyone. Guys, can you hear me? The back, okay. Louder, okay. Very good. For those of you who don't know me, and I should add, you haven't missed much. My name is Reza Ghanimati, and I was among the pioneer students of Aryamer, now Sharif University, in the fall of 1966. And I was also among the first batch of students who took Markar's class, first course in strength of material, in the fall of 1967. Before I continue, I'd like to offer heartfelt sympathy and sincere condolences to Dr. Grigorian and his beloved family, both on behalf of myself and all Markar students, present or absent. Although there is no doubt that this is a significant loss for all of us, at the same time, it's a celebration of his life and his achievements. Here I'll try to share with you some of my experiences during past 50 plus years with Markar John. I think the first sighting of Markar by curious students was in the spring of 1967, towards the end of first academic year. He was a tall, handsome young man who would, from time to time, appear at track and field location. At that time, we didn't have real field. His first class was offered the following fall, and I, along with some of the people who are present here, took the class, where we realized that he was an excellent teacher and educator. So far, so good. Nothing exciting. Until the first midterm. I vividly remember that I didn't attend the next class after the midterm. You might say, to put it politely, that at that time I was a kind of spirited student. The next day after that class, which I didn't attend, a couple of friends told me that Dr. Grigorian was looking for you. I was about to say, what the ... That they continued that, oh, you got the highest grade in the class in the midterm. It was 19 and a half out of 20. So that brought down the temperature in my blood. That was a good news, but I suspected it was a fluke. In the next class, Markar supplemented that grade with his kindness, guidance, and encouragement throughout the class. And this was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. After that, I took all Markar's classes and even took my final undergrad project with him. In all his courses, I was scoring high grades, i.e. fluke after fluke. After a while, I realized that the main reason for my good grades was him, not me. It was his excellent teaching, kindness, sincerity, dedication, extreme humbleness, and support that made me study. In other words, although I was flying high, he was the wing beneath my wings. He always wanted and helped the students to soar, and never took any credit for himself. Markar not only taught us various courses in structural mechanics, but in my opinion, and more importantly, he taught us kindness, sincerity, honesty, and humbleness. In short, he tried to instill and cultivate humanity in us. I'd like to share a story with you to show how gracious he was. Markar was the first and only professor who would invite the students to his apartment. I remember seeing the future Dr. Karl for the first time. He was only 2 years old, and I guess he was debating about going for his PhD or not. Anyway, by the fourth year, a group of us had been invited to his house so many times that deep inside we felt indebted to him. In the same year, there was an international exhibition, industrial and technical exhibition in Tehran, and we went to explore that. While we were there, partly joking around, partly paying attention, we ran into Markar. So we were very happy, and for the rest of the exhibition, we tagged along with him, and we were having a good time. It was during this time that a revelation came down to the group that this would be a good opportunity for us to take Dr. Grigorian to for a dinner, and of course pay for it. So we invited Markar and took him to one of the nice restaurants nearby. At the restaurant, everyone was having a good time, and nobody was thinking about the available funding. The implicit assumption was that it would be a piece of cake. Somehow, I was volunteered by others to be the chief financial officer of the group. The reason was because I was the only one sober and probably naive enough to accept the responsibility. During dinner, I collected the contribution from other students under the table. After counting and recounting the available fund, I tried to whisper to the person next to me, and I asked him to do the same thing with the person next to him, that guys, don't go overboard. We may not have the fund to support this enterprise. However, as usual, in happy days, no one listened to the word of wisdom. At that time, unfortunately, the wisdom was me. In the end, we did not have the money to pay, and Markar ended up graciously picking up the tab as usual. On a different note, no doubt that the loss of loved ones is difficult for everyone at any time. However, depending on our perception of death, this may become to some extent more bearable. Perhaps our difficulty with the reality of death is due to our perception of it. Due to our limited knowledge of this universe and lack of experience, we normally perceive death as the final point. However, if we change this perception, a new picture emerges. If we describe the notion, if we subscribe to the notion that death is not the end but a transition from one state of existence to the next, like birth, which is a transition between two states of being, in this view, life and death becomes two stages of the same journey. And if we accept that we, as free agents, can choose and are responsible for our actions, and therefore our future in both phases would depend on our action, then it would become much easier to see that people like Markar Grigorian, who did so well in his life in here, will also do so well in his journey to the afterlife. And hopefully, This could make the weight of loss more bearable. This view of death has been a regular theme in various cultures during the human history. From Lao Tse in ancient China, who said, "Life and death are one thread, the same line viewed from different sides," to Rumi in Iran, who said that on the day that I die, when I am being carried towards the grave, don't weep. Don't say he's gone. Death has nothing to do with going away. The sun sets and the moon sets, but they are not gone. Death is coming together. The human seed goes down in the ground like a bucket in the well. It grows and comes up full of some unimagined beauty. Also, too, great poet, Lebanese poet Khalil Gibran, who said that life and death are one, as the river and the sea are one. And to the present day, the author of Harry Potter's book, J.K. Rowling, to the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. To sum up, as Maya Angelou, echoing the words of Thucydides of ancient Greek, puts it, a great soul serves everyone all the time. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again. Now, in conclusion, I'd like to present a poem by Mary Alice Ramesh to dear Grigorian family. It's called For Those I Love, for those who love me. When I'm gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You mustn't tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that we had so many years. I gave you my life, you can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. I thank you for the love you each have shown, but now it's time I traveled on alone. So grieve for me a while, if grieve you must. Then let grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part, so bless the memories that lie within your heart. I won't be far away, for life goes on. So if you need me, call and I will come. Though you can't see me or touch me, I'll be here. And if you listen with your heart, you'll hear. You'll hear all my love around you, soft and clear. And then, when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and say, welcome home. Thank you. By the way, one thing that there is a message from Tokyo from one of our dearest friends, Behzad Nikhu, that will be, because by now you've been tired of seeing me up in here, my wife is going to take care of that later.
Hello, my name is Grigorian Jin. I'm chairman of Armenian Society of Los Angeles, where we are here together. On behalf of Armenian Society of Los Angeles, myself, and another board member of Board of Trustee, Tomid Alexanian, I guess we are the only ones, Board of Trustee and Board of Directors of this organization, we would like to say condolences to Grigorian family. each and every one of you, the young one, the older one, and the sister's kid, to everyone. But also, I want to take this opportunity and talk about, I'm a student of Dr. Grigorian. When I went, I want to say, small story, I never said it, including to my kids and to my wife, nobody. Markar came to our house very often until year 2002, because after that, he was frequently going to Armenia. It was harder to see him. But before that, he would come to our house, would play with my kids. And this is the story that I never said it, I want to tell you. As I said, I was a student in Aryamer. This is Aryamer School of Technology, University of Technology, which later changed it after the revolution to Sheriff University of Technology. And that was this is the second year I'm attending the university. We were young, always we had something to complain about. And at that time, 1970s, what happened was the buses, the transit buses were 2 riyal. And Shah wanted to make it 3 riyal. So what happens? All the students, we came out. There was this unbelievable demonstration for days. And eventually they saw they can't stop this. This university was on Eisenhower Street, and we wouldn't stop the traffic, and this is what we were doing. All the students were there. So eventually they brought Royal Guards, which is, these people are not the regular, they were police, but not regular police. Because later I became a lieutenant. I went to a base where they were training these Imperial Guards. That's what they call it. Imperial Guards. They were training. They would bring them from, all the villages. And these tiny people, tall but tiny. And days they would train how to hit and how to secure areas. I saw it when I was later became a lieutenant. So eventually they brought this Imperial Guard, and we closed the gates because we were afraid of them. They were all tall guys and muscular. They brought them, as I said, from villages. They were tiny, but they became, because I have seen it in where I was serving. So still we were making noise and this and that. Anyway, we would not give up. So they came with, they were buying at that time Russian Zil. It was the giant trucks that they were moving this Imperial Guards. So they came and hit the gates and came in and they started beating every single student there. I was there. Here is my professor. He was the only one I saw, at least. He was there with the students. And they hit him, and they hit me. They broke his arm, wrist. Broke his wrist. I don't know if they knew about this, because I never heard any time, all these years that I know him for 50-some years, he never said about that. So they were, of course, they arrested me. I was in jail for almost 5 months. Very hard time I had. There are some of those students died. But however, I came back. So obviously I was behind 5 weeks. I can't remember exactly, but it was weeks I was behind. I went to class and I tried, this was a smaller class. I sat in very at the end because I'm a guilty person. I'm in jail. So Markar came in and all of a sudden Swami came to me and said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm okay." So I didn't want to talk about it anyway. I came from place, so I didn't know. So he said, "Why you don't come to my office after we finish this?" It's okay. So I went to his office. You know, he was the only professor. He told me, "You're behind 5 weeks. This is what I went through. The past 5 weeks, he found this, they were giving us a note, you know. He gave me the notes. And he explained briefly what they are. And he told me, don't forget, you're behind from other students. Anytime you can come and knock my door and come in. And don't wait until I say to come in." So this is Markar. This is what I took from being his student, what I got. So for that, and this is for the kids, and especially grandkids, remember, this is what your grandpa, the kind of a person he was. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I have a short message to read to you from Behzad Nikku, who lives in Japan, and he used to be a student of Dr. Grigorian. Here is my message to you all and call for the occasion, which unfortunately I will not be able to attend. Okay, my heart and soul will be with you guys at the memorial tomorrow. My dear classmates and Markar's bereaved family, it is with deep sorrow that we have to accept the sudden passing of our dear professor and friend, Dr. Grigorian. He was not only an outstanding educator, but also a cherished mentor who profoundly influenced our lives. Dr. Grigorian's dedication to teaching and his genuine care for each of us left an indelible mark on our hearts. His wisdom, kindness, and unwavering support shaped our university years and beyond. We were truly fortunate to have known him, and his memory will forever be a guiding light. As we come together to honor his remarkable life and legacy, let us share our fond memories and the lessons he imparted. His spirit lives on in each of us, and we will always carry his teaching in our hearts. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family during this difficult time. May he rest in peace. Now he talks about a memory that he has. One of my fond memories of my master after college years. 20 years ago, Markar came to Japan as a coach of the American karate team. He was a black belt karate teacher. He was the author of a book on the spirit of karate, and he gave me one with his kind words and signature. He talked to me about the philosophy of karate that stresses that people should live in peace, harmony, and humility. The spirit of samurai. Those were the teacher's last lesson for me. God bless his soul. Thank you.
With my blessings for his soul and condolences to his family and friends.
you will excuse me, I will be very short, to the point, and the focusing point, which is Dr. Markar Grigorian. The first ever time I heard about him was 20 years ago when we had the honoring of the famous architect Rostom Boskanyan. At that ceremony, one of the architects, the famous architects in Tehran, Dr. Siavash Teimouri, if I may, can I continue in Persian? So Dr. Siavash Teimouri گفت که اون موقعی که هیچ کامپیوتری نبود، یه مهندسی بود اسمش مارک بود، میتونست سازه رو با 60,000 نقطه طراحی کنه. 60,000 nodes without computer. That needed what his son said, that needed instinct. It didn't need engineering. You have to be in that. این اولین باری بود که راجع به دکتر مارکار گریگوریان شنیدم و یکی از چهره‌هایی بود که در دوره‌ای که ایران داشت سازندگی و جلو رفتن میرفت و آرشیتکت‌ها و اینا همشون گرفتار محاسبات و اینها بودن، اون موقع میتونست 60,000 نقطه، لابد کارشون 60,000 نقطه بود، اگه 120,000 هم بود این کارم میکرد. نکته دومی که باز به دکتر مارکار گریگوریان برمیگرده میخواستم بگم، یکی از بزرگان از دانشجویان دوره اولشون اومدن گفتن که دانشگاه پرشکوه آریامهر. میخوام برای یک بار برای همیشه به عنوان کسی که توی دانشگاه‌های ایران مطالعه دارن رو تاریخشون، کی کجا چه دانشگاه آریامهر سال 45 اولین دوره دانشجوها شروع شدن. دانشگاهی بود که یک ساختمون داشت، یک آقای دکتر مجتهدی داشت و 45 استادی که معلوم نبود کی بودن، که از این 45 نفر 7 نفر ارمنی بودن. و دانشگاه آریامهر سالی که شروع شد فقط اسم شاه رو داشت. یکی از کسانی که از اون دوری کرد من بودم. گفتم آقا این تبلیغاتمون رو بریم اونجا چیکار کنیم؟ میریم به دانشگاه ریشه دار. و دانشگاه آریامهر نمیتوانست دانشگاه آریامهر بشود، رشد کند، ترقی کند، دانشجویانی را تربیت کند اگر آدم‌های برجسته و دانشمندی مثل دکتر مارکار گریگوریان و اون 45 نفر اول نبودند. دانشگاه آریامهر سال 45 فقط یک ساختمان بود. متشکرم.
Hi everyone, my name is Peter. I'm Dr. Mark's grandson, and I just wanted to thank you all for coming here today, and thank you to all the speakers for the kind words. And we're going to begin concluding the ceremony soon. Thank you.